Hi everyone, I'm Graddles and welcome back to the Best Start 3 series. This is episode 7 and I was originally going to make a warehouse, but we're gonna look at our power because if we build a warehouse we might get into some trouble. And I can't do copper because again we might get into some trouble, so let me just show you why. But before we do that, I just wanted to give a shout out to Brian Woldridge for giving me a $25 super chat. I really appreciate it. He's a member of my Discord as well. Thank you so much, Brian. Let's get back to the video. Alright, so here's our power pole here. So our max cons are 3871, our capacity is only 2700, and that's with the biofuel. And we are consuming about 700. Now most of our machines are idle because they're full. If I set up a warehouse and started putting stuff into storage, it will turn on all those machines and we would have a problem. The copper nodes are kind of spread out, and I was like, well, I could pull from here and here and here. Not a great plan. I mean, I think oil is where we're kind of at right now and we need some major power. I mean, major in we're going to do the simple setup right now. Later on, we might do a much better, efficient setup. Right now, we just want enough to really get ourselves up and going. So let's go into here. We're going to unlock this oil processing. We have the stuff we need. I'm pretty sure we have motors somewhere. Let me look in here. Motors. We have 132. That will do, actually. We have that. Let me go get the rest of that. So, I love dimensional depots. They're amazing. Alright, steel pipes. We'll grab some of you. Let's see, we'll put those in. And then we need copper sheets. Could I walk over there and grab the copper sheets? I could. Or I could just pull them from here. Is that even enough? It is. And then, in case beams, instead, I will simply walk over to here, grab those, and put those in, and we'll unlock our oil power. There we go. So it is getting dark out here, but I do want to start scanning for oil to kind of figure out where we're going to go. So even though it's dark, I think we're okay. I think you guys can see enough that we should be good. So I do know there's 2 oil nodes somewhere over here. One's across, I think, here, which we'd have to cross over our deadly drop here. Is it? Yeah, it's right there. We can actually do this. It's fine. There's the void. All right, so we got one here. Is it marked on our map? I think I do have it marked on our map. I do, as oil. Here's another one that's marked oil. And there's another one. So we have 3 oil nodes we can actually work from. Let's see where we are here. How would I want... Whoa, that was close. It's fine. It's not really fine. Is that a void? It is a void. That is a void. Let me see. If I went... Could I put... That is dangerous. I'm gonna put a foundation here somewhere. I think I want to sit down a little lower, but let's just drop one there for a second. I'm gonna press R and we're gonna zoop. And we're gonna zoop that out. I kind of want to get an idea where all 3 I keep saying iron. Oil nodes are. Okay, so that is one. All right, so let's see. We can cross over pretty safely now. But with me, you never know. I probably would fall in anyway, because, yep, that's kind of what I do. What is over here? What am I hitting? A creature is in the way. Of course you are. You know what? We could take care of him, though. DNA is always welcome. There we go. Thank you. Alright, so I'm just going to go that way. We'll take down these trees when we need to. But right now, I just want to get a building block of what we're doing, and yeah, if I keep hitting trees like that, I definitely will fall into the void. Alright, let's put the sword away. Thank you. Let's look back on our map here again. Alright. So this is oil. if we continue to go straight, we will hit the other oil. And then here is the other oil. I'm just gonna see, we'll go like that. Let's jump up here. Well, normal people would jump on there. I am not normal apparently, so yep, that happened. And I did it again. I'm so stupid. Why? All right, go that way. If I continue to go, oh, we got some guys we need to kill. All right. That's one. And there we go. That's two. All right. So there is the other oil, I think, right somewhere. I don't know. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's zoom in. Yep, we're getting close. We're getting close. The oil is right there, actually. Yes. All right, so that's actually not too bad. We can go that way. So that's the other oil node. And then let's look at the map. So we are here. If we continue to go in this direction, we will find the third one, which is kind of ironic that they're pretty lined up like that. And again, I missed the foundation. We're just going to continue this way. And it doesn't matter if we're going through the ground or not exactly. I can still see it through the ground. It's fine. And the other one should be here somewhere. Let's take a look at our map. Okay, I'm about to pass it. So we actually have to come back. Let's come over to here. Actually, let's scan for it. That makes the most sense. Put the sword away, please. It is over this way. Okay. Let's see where I can line that up. Right there. Now let's hop on here. It is... Where'd it go? Is it down here? It might be. Hold on, I need my flashlight. Is there oil down there? Or is that a void? This is poisoned here, I think. That, I don't know. Is that a cave? Is the oil even down here? I don't even know. I don't know. Alright, let's go back up. Because, let's scan for the oil again. Apparently I found it. I just... Yeah. I have a feeling it is... Is it on the other side? Let's jump. It is right here. Yeah, guys, I think it's down in this freaking hole. Well, I wasn't going down into the hole, but apparently I am. I am now. Oh, I got a foundation there. Let's drop to that. There it is, right there. Hello, kitties. And it's full of poison. I might want to take out my nobelisks and kind of destroy these before I die. Because I will. That is a given. Oh, that didn't throw very far. Well, crap. Alright. That's good. You need to die. And you. Let's overthrow this a little bit. Well, that worked. It worked. Alright, we'll come down and we'll kill this cat. Maybe. You know, you never know. I always want to chainsaw them for some reason. There we go. Alright. So it is pretty dark. Whoa. That was a cat in the face. Let's put down some this here. I really don't want to come back in here. Let's see if I don't have to come back in here. If I look up, we can build that straight up. That way. That way. Probably is best. What's over here anyway? Anything good? No. Absolutely nothing. That's fine. I mean, you know, I might have been down here already, apparently, with the amount of, stuff that I see up there. It's fine. It's fine. Alright. So if I put an oil extractor down here, I'm gonna need a lot of pumps to get it up there. I really wasn't thinking very clearly. Clearly, I wasn't thinking. Let's remove this as much as we can. I think what we'll do is we will use a ladder. I think that might be the best way to do this. Now, if I were to go like this and this, let's see where that oil is. It is right there. Alright. I could leave this oil extractor down here for now, and then when it gets light out, I might be better off waiting until it's light to see exactly what we're gonna do. But for now, let's get a ladder and get the hell out of here. Well, that's gonna go into there. Let's just go there. Ladders are amazing. They are your best option. It is so much better than using foundations, honestly. Delete that now. We have re-entry. Woohoo! Let's just build it really high. Can I get out of here? Yes, I can. All right. All right, so that oil extractor, I'm not sure if we're going to use it or not. It doesn't make too much sense. The sun is coming out, though. And I realized, you know, because it's a hole, even if it was daytime, it's still not going to give us a lot of light. So, whatever. Whatever. So, let's go back to the other two and see what we got here. Put the sword away, please. Thank you. All right. Where are we here? So this is one. So let's production oil extractor. We got that going. Don't know where we're going to point it to. I'm not sure how this is going to be set up exactly. I think I'll leave it that way. And we might put it this way. I don't know, but we'll see. We could lay out some foundations. I think it would be a great idea to lay out some foundations just to see what we're going to be doing. Because, I mean, this actually works out quite nicely. I don't like that you can see the grass here. It's fine. I'm just going to do this for now. That might work for one half. And then that might work for the other half. Again, let's see what we got going on. Do this across this way, and across that. Let's try not to fall into the void. I think we'll cut some of these trees down, though. That would be helpful. And maybe you. Can I get to you? Nope, I cannot. We'll just, there's a tree growing in the oil. That's fine. And possibly you. Alright. Can we get the oil extractor? Boom, boom, boom. And we're going to turn that this way. Obviously. H. There we go. Alright, let's take a look in here. Let's grab some power shards just so we could see what we could produce here. Our pipes. We only have 300 pipes. Do we have... Yeah, we only have the MK1 pipes. So we could only do 300. Let's go see what it's going to take to unlock the M2 pipes. Now, yeah, that would make the most sense. Because if we're going to build oil and we're going to do not an efficient build of oil, but just an oil build just to get us up and running, we do kind of want to max it out as much as possible. All right, let's see what we need to get MK2 pipes. Fluid packaging, power, jetpack, pipe. We need plastic and we need rubber and we need encased heavy modular frames, which I think we have from crash sites, possibly. I know we do. Right there, we have 98. How many do we need in here? 50. So plastic and rubber, I know we don't have 1,000 of those, but we're going to set up a system where we can do that and unlock that right away. In the meantime, let's see if we can clear out some of these milestones. It just makes sense. Motors. What are we doing? Do I not have any of those materials? Apparently not. Let's see what we got in motors here. 37. We could probably make those. That's easy enough. Sure, we can. Actually, before we do that, let's pull out the cable. That's 600. Then we don't have to run to it because it'll fill back up. The plates, we got 600. Perfect. And then we'll grab the other 400 for those after we finish our motors. That makes the most sense, right? All right, there's our 50 motors. Let's scroll down. Tab. We need 400 more cable. All right, the cable and the iron plates are going super slow. I keep forgetting we don't have the speed on the dimensional depots just yet, which, I mean, I'm just being lazy, let's be honest. There's another 400 for the 1,000. And let's go get that cable. Did I really need to cut between machines? Probably not. Did I? Yes. All right, so cable is right here. That's 400 there. Yeah, as long as we have the pod back, we might as well start working on milestones as well, because it just makes sense, right? We're kind of clearing these milestones pretty quickly, and we have the material, so let's do it. We'll just set this off. There we go. Did I take... Oh, I'm not putting all of it in. There we go. There we go. Let's just check out fluid packaging, plastic, that. All right, so we want to make some plastic and we want to make some rubber. So let's go back to where we were. Hopefully we have the stuff. I think we have everything on dimensional depots. So we should be good. So we need 1,000 plastic, 1,000 rubber to actually, you know what? Let's bring power over here since we can grab it off of that one for now. Might as well bring the power over, right? Doesn't make sense not to. All right. So we'll have some power to him. We're going to set this to 300. There we go. And now, get out, please. Thank you. Let's just set up some of these refineries. We need motors. Fuck you. We need motors. And that we don't have a motors factory. Let's be fair. We don't have a motors factory. We're kind of skipping over some things to get things done. But we can make at least enough motors here. And then I think I'll set up a temporary setup with the stators and the rotors, because we have plenty of rotors in machines and everywhere. I don't think I have the rotors on a dimensional depot. So I do have plenty of stators from crash sites. So I can make a ton of motors after we get this set up. Yeah, I kind of skipped through milestones really quickly without having permanent setups. I kind of do that a lot. I don't know why. But once we get this oil up and running, it should be smooth sailing. We'll get our copper up. We'll get our motors factory up. We'll start getting all this stuff going. But yeah, oil is really a good place to be. All right, 20 motors is enough to make 2 refineries. We want 2 refineries to make plastic and rubber, which is kind of what we want. So let's kind of do that. What am I missing? Am I too close? I am too close to you. Wow, that wasn't lined up properly, was it? There we go. That's lined up properly. So we want this, because that's going to take the crude oil and make heavy residue and plastic. That's 20 per minute. That takes 30 per minute. How far can we up this? We might not even... 75. We actually don't need to overclock this then, because 75 and 75 is only 150. We could underclock it just to save on power. This takes 30 per minute as well. Let's overclock this. Let's make sure we be careful because of power issues. But I think we should be fine. It's only 2 refineries, and it should be fine. So anyway, 75 and 75 is 150. We can actually underclock this to produce 150. That will save us a little bit of power there. And that's all we need for these guys. All right, let's hook up our pipes. So let's go into the T-junction here. Wow. There we go. And then we can just go back in. Well, actually, let's just click it. Press E. That'll give us the pipe we need. That'll go into there. Not a very neat, clean setup. It's fine. I'm just gonna make that straight because it does look a little neater. And now we need power for one. For one thing, we need power to all 3. Well, no, we have it there. It's fine. It's fine. And that can go over to... Yeah, you. I can't see you. There you go. All right. Actually, let's take this wire off here. That'll be fine too. There we go. All right. So now we need fluid buffers, because we're going to have to get rid of the heavy residue. And we're going to have to get storage containers for these guys. So let's do the storage first. We're going to want to set up a nice storage system. There we go. Let's press 3 on our hotbar to get our belts. There we go. That's going to be making us the plastic. Yeah, there we go. And then if we go into organization, we have fluid buffers. So I'm just going to put, do we have the bigger ones? No, I think we only have, yeah, we only got the smaller ones. It's fine. It's fine. Let's see. I think we'll set these up right about here. We'll put a good amount. 2, 3, 4. So now, if we go back here, we can just click on our pipe. This will go into there. This will go into here. This will go into here. And this will go into here. And these will start filling up with the heavy residue. Now, you can flush out one fluid buffer or the whole network when it gets full. So that's a good thing to know. I did not know that at the beginning. And I had a subscriber who is a great friend of mine now that he's in my Discord. And we hang out together almost every night. AWOL, he showed me that, which I did not know. So that was good to know. I don't read. That's my problem. And that's why I fail at so many games, is because, yeah, I don't read. But it's a game where I have to read. I don't read. That's my biggest downfall. So anyway, let's see. I am wondering, can we connect these into one? Yeah, I think we can. So let's do this. Not that. Let's do this. Let's come over to here. That we can't do. What if we did... I want to do this. I can do that. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's take that and go to there. And then put in... Can I do that? No. Probably not. You know, I'm goofing around now a little bit, but, you know, that's what I do, kind of, sort of. Yeah, let's get rid of this a second. Got that. This is probably not gonna work. It's fine. I'm just gonna come over to here. I'm gonna actually lift this up. There. That can now go into there. Now, if I bring this around, because, you know, this is what I do. I'm gonna go this way. If I put a T-junction up here, I like to try things, just to try things and see if they work. This is lined up. Let's see. Let's see if that works. Will it work without a pump? Wow. It actually works. And I'm stuck. That actually works. It's getting rid of our heavy residue. So, you know what? You don't have to do it like that. I was just being goofy and it works. So, you know. But anyway, as long as you have these all set up to the fluid buffers, I'm going to add another fluid buffer or two. Because I have 2 machines on here. We're going to make sure we flush this out quite frequently. And it should be fine. I'm just going to go in here, flush the whole network out. Boom. Just make sure it's clear. See how much plastic and rubber we're producing. Not too bad, and not too bad. So this makes 50 rubber. This makes 50 plastic. Yeah, I think we're going to let this run for a little bit. And then we'll collect our 1,000 when it's done. And that'll be something. In the meantime, let's go back to our base. So the last 2 episodes, I made a concrete factory and I made an iron factory. And we are producing pretty much everything we need over in those buildings. I could take down some of this concrete and just add a dimensional depot over there. But I have the dimensional depot on one of these concretes, which, you know, I don't know why we're not getting any concrete. Is it all going? It's going up to there. That's fine. This one is going to be making our encased beams for our Mark IV belts because I still haven't set that up. So I've been pulling from our small steel factory over there. All these factories over here have the machines backed up, but no, not going to storage. So that's something. We do have to set up motors. We need motors for refineries, so that is something we're going to do now. So let's look over here at our rotors. We have plenty of rotors. And we have that to the dimensional depot. I'm gonna grab a storage bin here and put it next to it. And I should have a ton of stators. Now they might be over here in our storage. Again, this is not a permanent setup. It's just to get us going. Yeah, I have a ton of stators. That is good. And we're gonna just make some motors with the stators we already have. If you did not go to a lot of crash sites, it's fine. You can make stators first. But I happen to have a ton of them from there. I'm gonna grab an assembler and put that there. I'm gonna remove this for a minute. We don't need it. And I'm gonna press 3. I'm gonna go there and there. This is going to make us motors there. I'm gonna take, do we need to power short it? Let's take a look at our power first. Let's connect this power first off. How is our power? 1,000. We could overclock this to make motors pretty quickly. Why not? Let's just do it. Let's take another storage bin, connect this up, and I think what we'll do is, I think we're gonna actually summer sloop this as well, since we're low on parts and we can keep a lot of motors then on hand, since we are not making them in a factory. So the dimensional depot will not fill up with rotors, and I'm fine with that. We don't need it right now. That's quite fine. What do we do next? So our pod returned. So let's go ahead and check out. We now have jetpacks available. That is good. Fluid packaging. Do we have 200 plastic from the other one? No, but we can go grab some. What else do we need? We have beams and we have copper sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the plastic, and we're going to go ahead and do that one. We'll try to clear out some milestones while doing this. I know we need the plastic for our Mark IIs, but don't worry, it won't hold you guys up too much, because I'm just going to let this run when we get up to a certain point, and it'll be off camera and you won't even feel it. I will. You won't. So let's go here. I'm going to grab that. And you know what? Actually, since we are here, this makes the most sense, right? Let's grab some of our Mercer spheres and let's put dimensional depots on these. And we don't have to run back and forth, right? You know, that makes sense. And then it will just store it in our dimensional depot. There we go. No more running back and forth. I like it. Not that I have anything better to do, because I have a lot of time to waste, since, yeah, we need quite a bit of plastic and rubber. But it's all good. It's all good. And we're going to have to go over there anyway to flush out the systems, which I should have freaking done, but I did not. So we're going to select this milestone. We're going to put that in. We're going to grab our beams, which are somewhere in here. There they are. We need 400 of those. We'll submit those. Copper sheets, let's just go grab them. It doesn't make any sense not to. Alright, we need 1,000 of those. Let's go ahead and submit that. Send that off. Why do I hit escape so much? Oh, this is where we get the industrial ones. Let's select that milestone. We need 100 motors for that. Encased industrial beams, rubber. Let's also check out the other milestones here. 200 computers. I mean, what the fuck am I talking about? 200 motors. Trains. 250 motors. Yeah, we definitely need to get those motors up and running. This is definitely the one we want. So, alright. I am going to let this run for a bit. Could we... So we need 1,000 rubber. What was the other one I said really quickly? To finish off 5. Only petroleum power. But it does take a lot of motors. I think we'll check back in a little while and see. You know what? I think I do want to finish this jump pads. It's driving me crazy. Let's go grab those rotors. So completion is kind of something eventually I need to do, because it drives me crazy to not be completed in something. It doesn't need to be done right away, but now that we have all this stuff like this is like really old stuff that we have. It just doesn't make sense not to do it. So yeah, let's just finish that jump pads off too, and then we can complete that. Not there. There we go. All right, so when that pod returns, I'm gonna submit the jump pads, and then we will work on the next milestone is petroleum power. So we'll finish all of 5, we'll finish all of 2, and then we'll start working on the pipe engineering 2. So I will do this off camera. You do not need to be here for this and for this. And when we get up to this one, I will turn back on the recording and we'll submit this and start setting up for our oil. All right, so we're ready. We have all the parts we need. Now, if you don't have heavy modular frames, you're going to have to unlock the industrial manufacturing first before you can make them. Because I just got them from crash sites. I'm fine to do it. So, yeah, you'll have to do that if you haven't gotten those yet. For some reason, I did not pull enough of the rubber. Where is it? Rubber. Right in front of my face, of course. All right, let's get that off. There we go. All right, so I'm going to put some of this stuff away here. Let's head over to the plastic and rubber. And don't look to your right just yet, because I did some preemptive stuff over there. So we're just not going to look over there a second. All right, so I added a few more fluid buffers over here, as you can see. I also added some storage over there. I power sharded the machines back here. If I can get back to it, because I set up this weird thing. And I somersaulted it. I'm going to try to squeeze out as much plastic and rubber as I can, because with our power, I'm not going to be making it right away. The reason being is we need power to start really ramping up our progress. And we don't need plastic and rubber to do so exactly, but it's good to have some on hand to get through some milestones and everything else. So I figure I'll stockpile it for a while, and later on we'll be able to set up some plastic and rubber. Right now we're just doing power. God damn it. Fucking notifications. Stop. Okay. Right now we're just going to do power. So anyway, let's go over this way, because I did some preemptive stuff, and I'll show you what I did and how I did it. So right now, let's go into these machines. I decided to put a platform here. It's in fucking A, now the doorbell's ringing. Okay, I'm back. So anyway, I put on this platform between the one miner over here and the one miner that's going to be over there. That's going to have to come in and drop in and probably go to this side over here, which I made black. And this one is going to go to the red side. So it's black and red, and then red and black. And we have a lot of birds. Anyway, let's look in the machines. So over here, we have crude oil coming in at 60, and that's going to turn into 40 fuel and polymer resin. The fuel is going to go to the power generators. This produces 40 fuel, and these each take, I think, 20. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we have the polymer resin. We are not going to be making plastic and rubber with the polymer resin, because you have to mix that with water. Let me show you. So to do this, we need the polymer resin with water. I don't want to run over water right now, and it's not necessary. We just don't need that. If we did this, it takes 30 crude oil, but it only makes 10 heavy residue. And if we do the heavy residue, we lose a lot. You need 60 to make 40. So at the moment, this is the best, right? So this will give us the most amount of power. So what we're going to do with the polymer resin is just sink it. That just makes the most sense. So the only reason I did the setup a little bit before is because I needed to figure out numbers and figure out space, honestly. How many tiles I was going to need and everything else. And it's one of those things that until you get into it, you have to kind of not plan, but you have to kind of figure it out, right? So what I did to get this the same level as those buildings over there is I simply took a foundation off that concrete factory, and I know that kind of matches up with that because I am not on the world grid. Let me show you. So if I were to take this, that's the world grid, and this is the one that we've set up. And so I took the foundation from probably the second one, like a little bit higher than normal, brought it over all the way across down to here, and over where the oil was, I moved it over, and then I just started setting up platforms. If you would like to know the exact number of platforms I set up, we can count that. So that isn't a problem. I did have to move over a little bit for this and make kind of space for this. And down there where the first refinery sits, there is that little like thing. You'll see it when we get down there. But if we come to the edge, we could count from here. Now these machines are set up back to back and front to front. So one of these, right there, one of those is 2, right? So I'm gonna have 10. Oh, that's another thing. I get way out of here. 60 per minute. We could do 600. We're gonna set the miner to 600. I think I already did. Let's check. I did not. I probably moved it. So anyway, this is gonna have to be overclocked to 600, like that. Then that's gonna put out our crude oil to 10 of these machines because it's 60 per minute. And then each of these are going to 2 of these, which means we need 20 of these. So I did these facing each other, and then these back to back, and then these facing each other. Now I'm hoping they fit pretty nicely. We'll see how that goes. Number of foundations. All right, let's count. So the only reason I'm counting this is because people ask me how many foundations did it take to make this setup. Now don't forget, these guys are in about 1, 2, and that is because I have the sink there and it gives us a little room to move around, and I did the same on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. And these are offset into there by 2. So that is so far the setup. We're going to have to kill this guy and then start to set up. There we go. Do we have any more birds? I think they're gone for now. So, all right. So I'm going to take this down. This is plenty of room to run the pipes, I think, through here and come up, or we can go down the other way and come up the middle. So we'll see how that works. I'm not sure exactly, but we'll see. I didn't want to get too far ahead of you. So I'm going to just hit control and come on, 2. So it's 8, 9, 10. So that should be 10. Let's backtrack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to come from the other side and do the same thing. And there are birds. Of course there are birds. Get out of the way. Alright, he's dead. Alright. Just in case. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing. Control. So that is 2, 3. Alright, so that should be 10. And that gives us a little bit of room in the middle. It's about 1 and a little bit of each on that side. Over on this side, let's start with adding our lifts. I did color this already, and we're going to point them out. Alright, so now we need all the splitters going that way. Actually, these are mergers. What am I doing? In fact, the other one is a merger too. I have to set those up a little different. I forgot they're mergers. Yeah, it's fine. So the output's got to go that way. All right, we're going to get rid of that. And that. And you saw that change color, right? As soon as I put... These were all red, and now they changed color. You know, it's annoying. It's a bug. But it's fine. As long as we point them at the machines, we should be fine. And we painted that one. We did not want to. It's fine. There we go. All right. Let's put our belts in. So what we're going to do here is paint this ahead of time. And hopefully it doesn't screw up like it always does. Why does that want to connect to there? What is there? Nothing. Why is it snapping to the back? It's snapping to the back of the machine, I think. That is so weird. I've never had it, like, literally snapped like that. That is so strange. I've never had it snap like that. Like, it's very strong. It's very weird. Anyway. We're going to do the same exact thing we did here, over here. Except, we're going to paint those black. I will not record the whole thing, so I'll cut it out to the end. The only thing I want you to make sure is that you're pointed towards the sink on this side. Alright, so that's all hooked up, that's all hooked up, that's pointed to that sink, that's pointed to that sink. Let's come in, we need power generators. We're going to need 20 of them. I have 4 laid down already. That means that it's going to be 4 more this way, 4 more this way, and so on. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to hit control, and it's going to lay it down nice and neat. It should. So that's 2, 3. I'm going to line it up with this one. Hit control. Alright, so I'm going to finish off both sides, and then when we get up to the pipes, I will come right back. Now I just want to show you how much space is between here and here. Let me just light it up. So the edge of this is right there, and the edge of this is there. So it's actually 1 square. So that should be pretty simple to follow. So then when you get up to this one, go to the back of this one. So here, if the edge is right down the middle, and then the edge is right down the middle of this one, it's technically 1 foundation. I hope that helps. But it's centered to the middle of that, because once you center this one right to the edge there, off the foundation here, then you'll see what I mean when you line it up with this one, and that will line up to the edge of this foundation. Then this goes back to back, and we do the same thing here. It's a half and a half, and that lines up to the back of this foundation. So I hope that helps explain how we did it, and I'm going to go ahead and start setting up all the power generators. By the way, like this one, it just went in the wrong way. Make sure your inputs are pointed in the right direction. So I did want to include one other thing. I did have to set up motors, and I should have told you this from the beginning, and that is because you need a lot of motors. So I actually ran out of stators as well. So what I did was I started making stators. I was just pulling pipes, and it's just really, stators is just pipes and wire. That's it. It's not a huge deal. But I did summer sloop it, I think, and overclock it as well. So this way we were making a ton of that. And yeah, we got quite a bit of motors. I do have it uploading it to a dimensional depot, but it's slow. Honestly, it's very, very slow. But it is working. Let's see, I'll show you the machine. Yeah, summer slooping. And in here, I'm also doing that. And believe it or not, we're still under that 2400. So I know you guys might be thinking, like, why did you spend so much time making coal power when you were just going to go to oil anyway? Again, it's preference. I got to build a concrete factory, an iron factory. It gave me more time to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with things. And it actually is working nicely because we're going to need that 2400 power you know, just for making stuff for this. Because we are not doing things kind of in line with maybe the game, what the game would have wanted. God damn it, another fucking notification. Ay. Alright, so we're almost done setting up these, and then we'll set up our pipes. Well, that moved out. It did not. Alright, so now we have our 20 generators on one side, 20 generators on the other side. Let's start putting in our pipes. So this is what we're going to do with our pipes. We're going to come down this and then go up. I'll show you. So skip the first one. The second one, we're going to go into here with our T-junction, and that's got to line up with this one. And you could move it this close, which will give you some room to kind of move down the line here, which is nice. That went in sideways. I have been having issues with these T-junctions spinning on their own and just moving, which is a little annoying. So just make sure both lines are lined up. See, now that just... No, it did not spin on me. Thought it spun on me. It did not. Where is it? There it is. All right, T-junctions are in. I can paint this. Yeah, the swatch color we wanted, which is the black and red. Now, if you press G, that'll only do the T-junctions. So you don't have to worry about it painting the floor or anything else you don't want. All right. Next, we're going to go in here. We're going to grab the pipe Mark II. I'm going to put it on straight. And then don't forget to connect into the machines as well. Gosh darn it. Come on. So before I go any further, I am going to paint these and then copy these. So I don't have to go down the line like I did before with the T-junctions. And this way they're already painted. All right, so I'm going to finish. I'm going to get to the end and then I will hook back up with you. Alright, so I finished that line of piping. I think I'll do the same on the other side. We'll stop at where the piping would end on that side, and then we'll get back together when we get to here. Now remember, we're going to start from the end and work our way to the middle, just like we did on the other side. So the piping goes to the middle. Alright, so T-junction. Again, I'm going to paint these T-junctions once I get this going here. Let's say, where is it? There. And we'll paint that, and there we go. Now you can paint this any color you want. I did this just to represent both sides and both nodes. So basically one node of the oil and one node of the oil. This way it makes it easier for you to see and it's very clear. Alright, so both sides are now connected right to the end, and this one obviously is inside a little bit. What we'll do is, let's take this, and we're just going to make this square like this. Now, that's the furthest it could come out, which is right on line here, say like that. Let's come and do the same thing on this side so that both match up pretty nicely. There we go. So that's going to come out. Let's see. We'll make sure where we are. So it's on the corner of that. So we want it on the corner of this one. This way they look nice and neat and clean and exactly the same. Next, let's put a T-junction right down the middle of this line right here that matches up with this one and that one. For some reason, again, these stupid things don't color properly. It's fine. It's fine. Let's grab a T-junction from here so it's already colored and I don't have to worry about it. So we're going to do this, spin it around, find out where, there it is, right down there. Next, we're going to take a junction piece like that. You could paint it. There we go. So now we can take this pipe, bring it into here, bring this down into there. So now we're going to take these junctions and just continue all the way down the line till we get to the end. Alright, and now you can take your pipe and run it down the line and into each machine. So on the end here, if you want to look way more fancy, you could use the T-junction because it's the end of the line, right? So what I could do is just take this off, go into the T-junction, and it makes it look nicer just because we haven't had T-junctions. And we can stop the line right there. God damn it, notifications, stop. I still haven't figured out how to turn notifications off on my fucking watch. And it's annoying as shit because when I'm recording, I would love to have it turned off. When I am not recording, I'd like them on because I don't answer messages. So, you know, it is what it is, right? I don't know. I can't figure out how to turn it off, though. All right, where am I? I need to come... Come on, get me that line. There we go. Where is it? There. H. Slide it down. There you are. Back up. Right there. Put the sword away. Thank ya. Alright, so I actually put a T-junction here. I didn't need a T-junction here. I just remembered. Because we're going to be turning. So anyway, let's grab these pipes, though. We're definitely going to need the junctions here. So let's do that. So when I know I don't need to, like it's the end of the line, like here, and on the other one, I don't like to put a junction if it's not necessary. So that is why I'd rather have the curve in the pipe than to add another junction, because it's just not necessary. We don't need it. It's kind of the end of where it's going, so it doesn't really matter. So here is where we're going to be bending into here. So we could stop it here and then connect it in. And that did not go, as you can see. It went all the way around. Make sure it turns green and not red. Alright, so the red side is completely done. The only thing we need eventually is power. Now that is going to be a pretty funny thing, but I think we should be able to get this done. I think it'll be fine. What we're gonna do though is find the power here. Let's see if we can get up here. No, that didn't work. I'm gonna start. Let's see if I can get up here. There we go. I want to daisy chain these guys. So I'm gonna go from here to there, and I'm just gonna connect it all up. This way the power is kind of at least nice and clean and neat. I love the new daisy chaining. It's a shame that you have to unlock it so far ahead, but it's fine. It's fine. It's better than not having it, right? And then we gotta daisy chain these guys. So alright, so I am done hooking up all of this. We now need to hook up the backs of the machines to the oil itself and get that up and running. So let's come down over to here. I'm gonna actually, let's make a hole in the floor. You know what, before we do that, why don't we start setting up our T-junctions? I think that would make the most sense, actually. Let's do that. Let's paint this one the red color, and we're just gonna go down the line. All right, you can leave the last one, you don't need it, but you do need it on the first one here. Where are you? There you go. All right, so I'm just going to remove that. I think we're gonna remove the oil extractor a second. Let's go into production and oil here. And let's see if I turn this. It does not like that square right there. Let's remove that a second. We could make that a 1. You wouldn't even know the difference. So we could definitely come in like that. Now let's jump down here a second. We need a pipe that's going to jump down in through here. Let's go with... Where am I? There we go. Logistics. That. We're gonna have to go with horizontal to vertical. And I can do that. And I don't mind that. I'm gonna actually color this the same color. And I think what we'll do is build a ladder to get back up, because it just makes the most sense. Here we go. And I'm gonna get rid of all this. We do not need any of these guys here. Now it is getting dark, So I might take a little break once we get up top before we turn our machines on, because I really do want you to be able to see all that once we get up and running. Alright, that's good. And we didn't fall into the void. That is good. Let's put our flashlight on again so we don't fall into the void. Yeah, be careful. So, there. Alright, so we could put this in and this in. I don't care if it touches the miner there. It's definitely not going to be seen. Alright, so now we can run the pipes. And that should not be a problem. Alright, so that pipe's all hooked up. Now, we gotta do the other side. Now that, we're gonna have to cut off our plastic and rubber. And actually bring that piping across and down and into there. So I'll be back once it gets a little daytime, and then we'll start doing all that. And I should have flushed the network a little bit, but we were busy. We were busy. What can I say? Alright, it looks like our plastic is full on this side, so I could actually take this off and just let it fill up that one, which it's not going to do, so let's just get rid of that. We'll let that fill up for a little bit, and I'll throw it in that container, and we'll put another container on top of there, and that should be fine. And let these fill up as much as possible. There we go. Put some of that plastic away. There. Alright, so while I was gone, I did hook up the backs of those machines the same as I hooked up the backs of those machines. So that has where it's coming down into over here somewhere. You know, it's going to come down into here. So I got to figure out how I'm going to run this pipe. So I don't think I want to put this on the ground. Let's disconnect this now. We don't need this at all. There we go. The power I'll leave on. It can finish up whatever it's doing. We're gonna go into production. Let's actually make this concrete. Well, not asphalt. Concrete. There we go. For a minute. We could do that. I want to get rid of that tree. That doesn't make sense. There we go. There is a rock there. We could explode it. Let's do that, I guess. Doesn't matter. You probably won't see it, but it's fine. Alright, so let's go into the oil extractor here. We're gonna make this go... Let's square it off, right? We're gonna probably build a building over this. So let's put that detonator away here. Let's take this, and I'm gonna zoop this vertical just to about there to see where the height is. I'm gonna take this. That's pretty tall, but if I come in there, let's make it a 1. We could come right to there and zoop this to there. We can get rid of that top piece. Alright. I may run this and then drop it back down. We will probably, most likely, need a pump. We're definitely going to need to do the other side here. I'm not worried if it's clipping into the machine. As of right now, we can change this to a half of... yeah, we could change it to a half. It doesn't matter if it's bucking in there. That's not the right thing. There we go. I'm going to take this and, again, zoop it. There. Alright, I'm going to need a ladder. Let's grab a ladder. Put it up there. Bring it to there. I'm actually going to add that to there. And then I'm going to grab a pipe. Logistics. Mark 2. And we're going to go horizontal to vertical. And we're going to bring it up. So. There we go. We're going to make it come... Let's make it come straight. I want to make sure, because I can't see it. So I don't know if it's bucking in or not. So let's estimate it there. And that looks okay to me. That looks nice and straight. It's not bowing too much to any side. We're going to just take this foundation. I just want to run it across that way. And then let's take this height, I guess. Now, I didn't really use the foundations from this, and that's probably a mistake, but let's see. We're going to take this. I just want to see where this is going to come But we're gonna have to come up higher, right? And even higher than that. We might change our foundations out just a little bit. Let's see. This comes in on that angle. So what we might do... Let's just put it there. I'll get rid of that there a second. I'm gonna need a ladder again. And then let's get rid of all this a second. So I know this is a lot. For me, it's trial and error, right? I gotta figure out exactly how I want to put the foundations in. And I kind of want them to match up a little bit. So let's take this out because this was just a temporary solution for stuff. I'm gonna drop down here a second. Let's go vertical. See where that brings that. That brings that there. We're gonna do this zooping. We're gonna do this zooping. We could probably do that. Not off of there. Let's come off of here. I just want to see where that is gonna fit. Go into production and oil extractor. We're gonna want this to sit pretty straight into there. Is that straight? It's close enough. That is pretty close. I'm gonna grab this. Go vertical. Go up pretty far. Let's get rid of that, obviously. Alright, we're gonna grab that, but make it a 1 and see where we can come across here. That looks like the height is okay. Yes, it does. We can get rid of that one. Let's grab a ladder. Put it into there. Alright. Now that we got this height, this is pretty much the height we're going to go in on. We're going to just use a 1. And it's going to drop down into here, right? There. Just going to come over to here a second and drop down. I want it to go there. So right here, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to grab this. We're going to go vertical. And then we're going to take this, drop down into there. And then I think what we'll do is we'll paint this black. Am I talking too quiet? I think I am, because I'm concentrating. So now we can remove all this. So we have the right height. We have everything kind of the right way. All right, so this could stay, possibly. So now, let's grab a ladder again. And yeah, we're gonna have like an overpass of this. I think that'll be fine. Let's go into our pipe. Now this, again, might be a little close. We can always move that later on. So let's climb up the ladder. And this is gonna head this way. Yeah, it tilts back a little bit. I think we could do that better. But we have to go up there, remove that floor pipe thing. So, yeah. So it's there. We're gonna actually bring it to there. And we're gonna disconnect this one. And then we'll go back down and grab another pipe. And then get back on the ladder, which I suck at when I'm flying. Alright. And that's gonna go in here. It says invalid. It's clipping. Why? What if I change it to auto? That works. Okay. Yep. So now what we'll do is, let's take this off a second. We can use a foundation. Half a foundation. Let's do that. Let's get rid of that a second. Half a foundation. And put it... Can't see. There we go. And go vertical to there. Make this concrete. And then we could still take this and we could do a half a foundation or whatever, so it doesn't matter. We'll go back up. It's easier to see, honestly. So this is probably one of the harder parts besides doing the numbers and stuff. There we go. So let's turn this foundation properly and make it a 1. There. All right. So that fits perfect now. Now we just got to run this down. Let's grab this. I'm just going to run it straight. So I run it to the edge there. Next, let's come down into here. I'm going to grab it from there. Come down into here. To there. That's fine. All right, let's go ahead and let's do this straight. Wow, I messed that up. Straight or straight. All right, so it might clip into this rock a little bit. No, it actually does not, which is great. All right, so we're gonna keep that straight to there. Then I think what I'll do is I'll take this support, run it off to the side here. Oh dear, come on, get out of there. There we go. All right, let's grab this. Actually, yeah, let's just put it there. The trees are kind of in the way, it's fine. Probably should cut those down. All right, let's grab that pipe there. Drop it into here. It's not like it. Okay. All right, let's do this. Grab it. Drop it into here. Invalid pipe shape. That is because we have to go horizontal to vertical. It's fine. Now it likes it. There we go. And now we could hook this up to there. We'll go straight. And then slide under the piping here. This. Let's go this way. There we go. Hooks into there. H. Do I think I could nah, I can't jump into there. Who am I kidding? All right. So that wasn't too bad. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm gonna have to. Whoa. Okay. Get rid of that. Can I jump down into there? No, but I can jump that way. Of course I can. All right. Let's put that back. All right. So that is the pipe being run. We can actually ground this a little bit. Let's do that. That's fine. Looks a little bit better. All right. So this guy needs power too. So we do have power over here. We'll set up and clean up this area a little later. But for now, let's get this to there. All right. So now everything is connected to power over to here. This needs to be connected to power, and then everything else will turn on. So right now, the only thing running on that side is the oil extractor, which I did not overclock. Yes. Do not forget to overclock. Otherwise, you got an issue. So let's go do that. I'll clean this mess up later. It's fine. But yes, don't forget to overclock. All right. That and that. Will we blow a fuse? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty sure we will. I'm pretty sure. But, let's just plug it in and see what happens. So, we have power right there. So let's grab that. This is a scary thing to do everything at one time. Usually I don't do everything at one time, but let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So far everything is red. I don't know. There is no power to this. That's connected to that. That's connected to that. Why is there no power connected to that? That is... Oh. That is because that wasn't connected to there. Always check your wiring. Always check your wiring. Let's see. Let's see, is this going? This needs to be overclocked. You are hooked. So we need pumps. So that's exactly what I thought we were going to do. But, again, it was one of those things that I said, let's get it set up first. So we got power there. Let's go ahead and put a pump on here. We're going to have to do the same on the other one. But, again, I just wanted to see where we were at. We have the M2 pipes, so let's make sure that's going the right direction. That should be... Let's bring it down a little low. And then connect that to that. Let's do this to this. Put the floor back in. And now we're getting oil. And now we're getting oil. Alright, let's go back to the other side. We're definitely going to need pumps over there. Because we are going completely vertical. Just like that. And let's get a pump on there. So far we haven't blown a fuse. Because nothing is running until the oil gets in there. Once the oil gets in there, as long as we have enough power to control that, it should be fine. Let's see. Okay, pump. That should be alright. Let's stick that on there. Why? You know what? We can unplug all this. Dumbass. There we go. Connect that to that. Why is that chugging? Did I remove my ladder? Let me see. I did not. Let's see what we got going on here. That is full. That's just chugging for no reason. Let me do something a second. Just gonna get rid of that a second. Let this completely fill up. There we go. Now I'll put that pipe back. Alright. I don't like when it chugs. I like when it's like completely full. And then we'll have that fill up there. Alright, I'm just gonna color this the black color. I know that's where it goes to that. Alrighty. And then we'll do the same down here. That will be that and that. Let me move these guys out of the way. They're kind of being annoying. Alright, let's go ahead back up and see what we got going on here. Alright. Now, are these guys starving? They are a little bit. This has no power. There it goes. I think what I'm going to do is turn these guys off and let them fill up. Blah, 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 fill up. That's sometimes what you need to do because it's going down the line. So I'm going to shut off, actually, let's see, the last 4 in this area. Let's fill this one. Let's shut it off. I'm going to do the same thing in the back ones. So this one, let's shut this off. Let's shut this one off. Let's shut him off and him off. So let's let the 6 of them on this end and the 6 on the other end. No, 6. 3 and 3 is 6. And 6. Yes. So the 12 of them, these are going to fill up first. Then we'll slowly turn on the others. Let's go down the end here. We'll do the same thing here. Let's shut off the last 4. Alright, so now we should only have 12 over there and 12 over here running. We're going to let them go for a little bit. So I'm also going to take a look here. We're not backing up on anything. That's going and going. Let's see the first ones in the machine. This one has 50. And then this one has 50. So we know that it's starting to fill up. That has 35. That has 38. And then the third one's in the line. They have 2. So I'm actually going to shut off these 2. So go down your line. If it's struggling like this, just let these run, fill up, and start filling up the back ones. That's kind of what you have to do. Usually, on a normal basis, I will turn these on one at a time. So now this one's got 50, this one's got 50. I look over here, this one's got 50. I'm going to turn that one on and turn that one on. So I would definitely go a little bit slower, like don't even connect your pipelines maybe until a little later on. This one's still filling up. I'm going to let that fill up. Let's go back down the line here, and you'll definitely see the difference. That's got 50. That one's got 49 point. There we go, 50. So let's go into here. That's got 50. I'm going to turn it on. That's got 50. I'm going to turn it on. We'll go down to the end of the line here. 31. All right, so we'll wait on these. Let's go back and check our other side. That's still struggling to fill, but it's getting there. That too. Let's see what the third one's doing. They're not, so let's turn these off. These aren't even full. So it takes a little while for the refineries to make enough oil to fill these guys. So this has got 50. This has got 50. I'm gonna leave this alone for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll probably have them all ready to fill and turn back on. And I'll show you what we got. I'll be back. Alright, so everything is up and running. Once it completely filled, I turned back on the machines. Make sure your power is completely connected to the whole network. I actually was noticing, I had 5200, I had this. It's because when you daisy chain, you're connecting like these machines, but you're not connecting to the outside networks. I actually had to configure it a little different. I'm gonna have to go through this and probably do a little bit more work with it. What I know is we had 2400 coming from our coal. We had 300 coming from our biomass, which is 2700, and 10,000 was the capacity of these guys. Let me just show you. So here we're producing 250 watts, megawatts, and N 250 times 40 machines is 10,000. And then I know this is complete because I got the 12,700. Where our max cons are 5,000. That's with everything up and running. And that again is with the biomass. So that is, we're good. We got some good power for a little while. Eventually we're gonna have to do some heavy duty stuff. This was pretty simple. Over here I did encase this right here. Looks a little bit better. And I did the power a little bit better. Eventually we'll get power towers. Again, you can build a building around this, do whatever you like, move it into a different section altogether. It doesn't have to be placed where I placed it. I'm noticing that the road that kind of came off is kind of off center. I'm going to have to move that in a little bit. It's fine, but everything is up and running. Everything is green. Let's take a look over here. Yeah, everything's green. That's what you want to see. Go into picture mode, fly over it. Look at it like that. Again, I could build a building around this. Maybe I will later on. Right now, I'm happy the way it is. It looks very nice, very symmetrical. I do like symmetrical. Over here, we have the concrete, the iron, the coal still up and running. Those are our miners. That's our oil extractor there. And that is still our home base. Eventually, we'll rip that down. And maybe we'll just make it a Caterium SAM, Caterium quartz. We have so many things over there. That was a great starter base. Eventually we're going to figure out a place to put a hub. We're going to put a central location probably for a hub. Right now I'm fine with it, leaving it there. We still have copper buildings to make. We have a steel factory to make. We have quite a few things to make. A motors factory, stators. We have so much. I do need to set up storage. I still don't have that set up for our concrete and our iron. So we still have loads to do, but we now have power to bring us through. So, yeah. If you like my content and you want to see more, like, subscribe, comment, share. I do have memberships, 99 cents and $2.99, and with the $2.99 you'll get a shout out after every video just like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.